When you dream about space businesses, what do you see as possible 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, as viable space businesses that it's hard for us to see because they're not there?
You know, you have the obvious existing business of satellites of one kind or another, which I think with an improvement in space transportation costs will enjoy an increase in the business, but modest. And then I think you've got space tourism or space adventure, whatever you want to call it. That I think is likely to be the biggest driver. And then long term, I think you've got, assuming that we fulfill the President's vision and we establish a moon base and then go on and establish a Mars base, I think supplying those bases is a huge, huge business.
When you say space transportation, we think of transportation, we always think of moving people. You think of moving people, moving satellites, moving cargo?
Well, we're starting off with transportation of satellites to orbit, or cargo, you could call it cargo. We're starting off with unmanned transportation, and as we prove out the reliability, our intention is to move to human transportation as well.
10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1. Station liftoff. Liftoff of the Falcon 9. Falcon 9 has cleared the towers.
There are people who've been in the rocketry business for decades who say about you that you don't know what you don't know. You know, there are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight and the way that you're developing it.
Now is the time to overrule this administration's pledge to mediocrity.
I was very sad to see that because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
As this animation shows, Elon Musk's next flight will be far more ambitious.
Oh my God.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA, go SpaceX, Godspeed, spot a dog.
America has launched. So rises a new era of American spaceflight, and with it the ambitions of a new generation continuing the dream. 20 seconds into flight, stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
So, when I was young, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I got older. People kept asking me, but then eventually I thought that the idea of inventing things would be really cool. And the reason I thought that was because I read a quote from Arthur C. Clarke, which said that a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and that's really true. If you go back, say 300 years, the things that we take for granted today you'd be burned at the stake for. being able to fly, being able to see over long distances, being able to communicate, having effectively, with the internet, a group mind of sorts, and having access to all the world's information instantly from almost anywhere on the earth. This is stuff that really would be magic, or would be considered magic in times past. I also had sort of a slight existential crisis because I was trying to figure out what does it all mean? Like, what's the purpose of things? And I came to the conclusion that if we can advance the knowledge of the world, if we can do things that expand the scope and scale of consciousness, then we're better able to ask the right questions and become more enlightened, and that's really the only way forward. When my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. And we showered at the YMCA, and we're so hot up we had just one computer, so the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night, 7 days a week, all the time. And I sort of briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she had to sleep in the office. So work hard, like, I mean, every waking hour. That's the thing I would say, particularly if you're starting a company. A natural human tendency is wishful thinking. So a challenge for entrepreneurs is to say, well, what's the difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit? And that is a really difficult thing to tell. Can you tell the difference between those two things? Right. You know? So you need to be sort of very rigorous in your self-analysis. I think certainly extremely tenacious, and then just work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. All those things improve the odds of success.
How do you think about making a decision when everyone tells you this is a crazy idea? Or where do you get the internal strength to do that?
Well, first of all, I'd say I actually think I feel fear quite strongly. So it's not as though I just have the absence of fear. I feel it quite strongly. But there are just times when something is important enough, you believe in it enough, that you do it in spite of the fear. It's like, people shouldn't think, people shouldn't think, well, I feel fear about this and therefore I shouldn't do it. It's normal to feel fear.
So you just feel it and let the importance of it drive you to do it anyway?
If you just accept the probabilities, then that diminishes fear.
Oh my
You see him both line up?